I'd like to talk today about the three main principles of marketing, of modern marketing. And those three principles comprise what we consider today to be modern marketing. And the first one of the three is the idea of customer orientation. And that is that everything has to be looked at from the point of view of the customer. We, as a company, sometimes know way too much about the product and have very fixed points of view about the product and the competitors. And all of that is interesting but unimportant from a marketing perspective. The only thing that's really important is the way the customer perceives us, the competitors, and everything. So for example, if we have the best quality product in the market and we can prove it from all kinds of objective tests, it is completely irrelevant unless the customers themselves consider the product to be of higher quality. If they consider us to be an inferior product, that's the way they're going to act. And that, at the end is the only thing we care about, what they do, what they buy, what they think about us and the competition. So just as an example, if we go to the supermarket and there are two brands of margarine on the shelf, one is the regular brand we always buy, regular margarine, and the other one is cholesterol-free margarine. It's a new version of margarine. Which one would we buy? Well, when we do this example with a big audience, half the people usually select the regular margarine and half of them select the cholesterol-free. The people who select the regular margarine usually give as a reason the fact that they like the tastier margarine. They think the cholesterol-free version has, you can't take away the cholesterol without losing a lot of taste as well. The cholesterol-free people claim that, why, kind of take on more cholesterol if I can avoid it, right? So if I can make a healthier choice, why not do that? And they're willing to sacrifice a little bit of quality or taste in order to get that. But from an objective perspective, all margarine is cholesterol-free. All the margarine in the world is cholesterol-free because margarine is made from plant material. And therefore, the only thing we did is we wrote something irrelevant on the package of the margarine, saying it was cholesterol-free, and yet we created a perception of reality in the customer group that makes them act differently. And it also changes their objective utility, or subjective utility, actually, we should say. Because the ones who bought the tastier margarine, when they cook with it, it actually tastes better for them. And the ones who bought the cholesterol-free version, they don't even have to cook with it. On the way to the car, they can feel the blood flowing more freely in their veins. And that's simply because they made a healthier choice. So we can't look at anything as objective. We need to look at everything as subjective, at everything from the point of view of the customers that we are trying to service. The second principle in marketing is that we can't really sell averages. We have to create a specific product for a specific target group with specific needs. And in order to illustrate this, let's do an example. Just imagine I'm standing here and I got one leg on a block of ice. Just imagine ice under my leg. And I got the other leg on hot coals. So there's a fire under my second leg. On average, I'm comfortable. The temperature in the middle is perfect. But in actual fact, I'm dying on both legs. Well, the same is true in markets. If we have a target group out there in the market that wants really high quality and is willing to pay for it, and we also have a target group that doesn't care about quality that much or doesn't understand quality, and therefore they only want a standard, pretty cheap product. The worst thing we can do is create a product that's average quality and average price. Because as long as we're a monopoly, everyone's going to buy us. But usually in competitive market, the first competitor that comes in will offer a higher quality product for a higher price and will lose aftermarket. And the second competitor will come in with a cheaper version with less quality and will lose the other half of the market. So at the end of the day, we have to make sure that we have a specific product for a specific group that completely caters to their need. And Coke Zero is a perfect example of that. Because why wasn't Coke satisfied with only Diet Coke and regular Coke? Because there was a group in the middle between these two products that had some regret about the product they were drinking. The Diet Coke drinkers, they wanted less quality, but they were upset about losing all that taste. And the regular Coke drinkers, they loved the taste of regular Coke, but they were upset about the fact that they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So Coke Zero is a perfect solution to that group. And Diet Coke remains a perfect solution to the people who actually think that the taste of Diet Coke is better than the taste of Coke. And regular Coke is for the people who don't want compromise, right? They want the full-blooded version. And what we did is we created an exact fit, like a glove that exactly fits those three different groups in the market. The third principle, after this idea of going after a specific target group, the third principle is called integrative marketing. And integrative marketing is about bringing everybody in the organization on board when it comes to selling our product from the customer perspective. So, for example, let's say that we send two people to a third world country to find out if there's a market for our shoes. So we're a shoe company, we want to sell shoes. They both come back with opposing reports. One of them claims that there's a great market for our shoes because everybody's walking around barefoot. The second guy says exactly the same thing. Everybody's walking around barefoot, therefore there's no need for our shoes. And of course, they're both wrong, because what they did is they looked at the market from their perspective. And what they should have done is gone to the market and asked the customers, do you want shoes? Why aren't you buying shoes right now? So let's say we do that. We send a delegation over to do some market research, and they do some focus groups, they do some surveys, and they come back and they say, oh yeah, they absolutely want shoes, but not just any shoe. They want a black shoe with white stripes and a picture of a zebra on the front. Well, we go back and we write a memo to the R&D department, please develop a black shoe, white stripe, picture of a zebra. In the R&D department, while they have no problem with black shoes or with stripes, because they have rulers for that, zebra is a bit of a problem, because they had a great zebra guy, but he left. On the other hand, they have a great elephant person, and elephants and zebra, they're not really different from each other. You know, when you go on safari, you see them right next to each other. So they make a black shoe, white stripe, picture of an elephant on the front, and they send it to purchasing. In purchasing, they realize that black leather is actually 3 times more expensive than brown leather. You can buy a whole container of brown leather for almost nothing. So, you know, why waste all that money? You know, during night, you can't see the difference between black and brown anyway. So what, just for the daytime, you would waste so much money? So they decide to go ahead and buy the brown leather. Then they send it to manufacturing, where the machine that makes the stripe isn't working today, and instead of delaying production, they use the circle machines, which is working perfectly, and you end up with a brown shoe with white circles and a picture of elephant that nobody wants. So it's not enough for us to understand everything from the point of view of the customer. We have to translate that into actual actions by all the departments in the corporation. It's not enough for the marketing department to have a customer orientation. Every department needs to have one in order for modern marketing to succeed. So let's summarize. We first look at everything from the point of view of the customer. Second, we realize that there are different customers with different needs, and we have to cater specifically to them, and that the worst mistake we can make is creating an average product. And third, we have to do something called internal marketing or integrative marketing, making sure that all the different departments in the organization get together to service the customer.